Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday, March 27th, 2026. This is Truth News. I am Walter Bass. Tonight we are going to cover a couple of different topics. First of all, we're going to talk about our demented president, our child rapist commander-in-chief, the murderer of children, Donald J. Trump. And we're going to talk about some of the absolutely psychotic remarks he has made. And we're going to talk about why a lot of these things are going on and why Destructive Don is doing what he's doing around the world, not just here in America, what he's doing in Iran with murdering the school children, what he did in Venezuela. We're going to talk about all of this. And I think I can explain it. And I will try to get there to the best of my ability. But before we do that, let's pay homage to the reason I'm making these videos. The man who kidnapped, stuck his dick in, and murdered my 7-year-old son, serial child killer, State Judge Kelly Hansen, with 16 years worth of victims of children. He has kidnapped, raped, tortured, murdered, and sold using his position as a state judge in Marietta in Riverside County, California to do so. This man right here kidnapped my 7-year-old son, stuck his dick in my 7-year-old son, and murdered my 7-year-old son. As I've been told by Capitol Police Intelligence that my son is dead, stop calling. And I've been told by Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department's 3rd District that Donald Trump ate my child. And it's 2026 in the United States of America, and we're actually talking about cannibalism of children. Let that sink in. So, speaking of cannibalism of children, let's give a shout out to our sponsor, McDonald's, serving a new McFetus sandwich, part of the presidential combo, a fried baby flesh sandwich between the buns of a fillet of fish with a large fry and a Diet Coke for $999.99. That's the presidential combo at McDonald's, a fried baby flesh sandwich between the buns of a fillet of fish, large fry, Diet Coke, $999.99. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. Now that we got that out of the way, I got another picture to show you as we start the show tonight. I'm going to try to keep this to 30 minutes. We'll see how that goes. There's a lot to cover. I understand people's attention spans aren't what they used to be, but we're going to start with this comment right here. Please read that. If you can't read it, I will read it for you in just a minute. Let me give you a minute to read it. And that is a quote from Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America, and I'm going to read this quote to you. Iran proposed making me the supreme leader. I said no thank you. They want to make a deal with me so badly, but they are afraid to say it because they figure they will be silenced by their own people or by the United States. Donald J. Trump, Dementia Don, thinks that he bombed Iran, murdered more than 150 innocent school children with a Tomahawk missile, murdered their supreme leader, basically the Pope of the Muslim nation, and he thinks those people want to make him the supreme leader. Does that make any sense to you? Does that make any sense to you at all? Do you honestly believe that Iran wants to make Donald J. Trump their supreme leader? An 80-year-old child rapist and murderer and pedophile? Epstein's best friend? Do you think Muslims who are pretty devout, I've known a lot of Muslims in my life, a lot of Muslims. One of my good friends in New York was Abdullah Solimez from Turkey. White guy, Muslim, very devout. did his prayers, practiced Ramadan, and I had a lot of respect for him because Ramadan is 30 days of fasting. You don't eat while the sun's up. You can only eat before the sun comes up or after the sun goes down. I'm not sure the exact details, but I know 30 days of fasting for Ramadan. He said his prayers numerous times a day on his prayer rug. I didn't understand it at the time. I wasn't that into religion. I was in my 20s. That was 20 years ago. And I don't think that Muslims would encourage child rapists, pedophiles, and murderers to be a part of their religion. I could be wrong. I mean, there are religions that practice that, like Judeo-Christians, as they call them, but there's no such thing as Judeo-Christians. There's the Jewish people and there are Christian people. Those two religions do not intersect whatsoever. Just because they are mentioned in the Bible, they think because the Jews are mentioned in the Bible, they think that makes them a part of Christianity, when actually Christianity is about Christ. Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior. And the Jews are a synagogue of Satan and sons of hell, according to the Bible. So those two religions, one's a cult and one is a follower of Jesus Christ. They are totally separate entities. But let's get into why the world's most famous child rapist, President Donald J. Trump, is murdering more than 150 innocent school children with Tomahawk missiles. Why he is destroying the United States of America. The Dow Jones is down. Have you seen the Dow? But the Dow, remember Pam Bondi? The Dow. Have you seen the Dow? Yeah, we've seen the Dow. Yeah, it's crashing. We've also seen gas prices. They're rising. Groceries rising. Taxes rising. The pedophile tax. Yeah, basically that's what all of this is. And I'm going to give you the two reasons these things are happening. And before I go down this road, because it's going to be a dark and winding road, I want to say this weekend I'm going to do some positive shows, because you can only consume so much evil and negativity, and you got to take a step back, catch your breath, reset, regroup, keep your mind focused on your objectives and your goals, and you can't let this stuff affect your life. You really can't. You got to be able to separate yourself from what's going on in the world. You got to be in this world, but not of it. Do you understand what that means? The Bible says that. In the world, but not of it. Like, I live here and I got to be here, but I don't have to partake in all of this sick, evil, disgusting depravity. And I choose not to. So, there's two reasons Donald Trump is doing all of this to the world. The first reason is because he has been told he is going to die. Someone in the medical industry, whether it's Walter Reed, whoever, Ronnie Jackson, whoever, someone has told Donald Trump, you are dying. Dementia is setting in. Your brain is rotting. That is why he has a black spot on the back of his right hand from blood transfusion from murdered children, trying to keep fresh blood in his body so he can live a little bit longer. Everyone knows this is very common practice with blood transfusions. Lance Armstrong won the Tour de France, I think like 12 or 14 times. And he was doping the whole time. He was doing drugs and all of this, but he always passed his drug test because he was getting blood transfusions. And he wasn't just getting any blood put into his body. He was getting the youngest, freshest, purest blood he could find. And that's the blood of children. Because children haven't done drugs. They haven't had any cancers in their body. I mean, with the exception of a few. No drugs, no alcohol. You know, you get newborn children's blood put into your body. It's rejuvenating for the body. New platelets, new cells, new T cells, white blood cells, all of that stuff comes from the blood. So the blood is literally the substance of life. So He's getting these blood transfusions regularly. That's the black spot on the back of his hand. They are not stable because the brain runs on oxygen. That's what the brain needs. Oxygen. The body needs blood, granted, but if you hold your breath for 3 minutes, your brain is going to shut down. You're going to lose consciousness. That's because the brain needs oxygen. That's what it needs. And it just gets to a point where there's not enough, and it turns into gray matter, turns into mush with time. And Donald Trump, his whole life, for 80 years, has always had money. He's always had privilege. And he's never had to suffer any consequences for his choices, ever. He has always been able to do what he wants, and his money or his privilege has protected him. He's been able to rape and murder children with absolute immunity. He's been able to rape women with absolute immunity. He has been able to do anything he wants, and everyone just oohs and ahs over him because he has money. His name's on a few buildings. His daddy was somebody. Now, for once in his life, his money can't save him. There's no amount of money that can save Donald Trump's life. And when the doctors told him, you are going to die, whether they gave him 6 months or 6 years to live, that's irrelevant. He has been given notice of death by someone in the medical industry. And therefore, in his sick and demented mind, he feels that he shouldn't have to die alone. And he's actually mad he's going to die. He don't think it's fair because he has money and he has privilege. So he thinks he should be able to live longer than everyone else because he's always been able to do what everyone else couldn't. He's always been able to do things that most people wouldn't do. Most people wouldn't rape and murder children. That's not normal. But for him, he can do it because who's going to stop him? Who's going to put him in jail? Who's going to even file charges on him? Have you ever seen Donald Trump actually charged and put in jail for a crime? The staged stuff, the staged stuff for political theater, the Kabuki theater show. But he's never actually faced criminal charges that could result in prison. Civil penalties, sure. Sure, a lot of people get to murder people and just pay money to get out of it. See, that's the problem with this country. If you have enough money, you can commit crimes and just buy your way out of it. You don't actually have to go to prison. You pay civil penalties. You just pay the family off with a couple of $1 million for murdering their loved ones, and you go on living your life. You see, but this one, Donald Trump can't buy his way out of. You can't buy your way out of death. You can't buy a new brain right now. He can't fix this. There's no way out of it. So like many people who have come to terms with the reality that they are going to die and it's imminent, Donald Trump feels like he shouldn't have to die alone, and he's going to take as many people with him as he can before he goes. And we've seen this in normal people for decades. How many times have you heard about a father murdering his own children and his wife before he turns the gun on himself? How many times have you heard about a mother drowning her own children in a bathtub, then taking a bunch of pills to kill herself? How many times have you heard about a mother locking her children in the car and driving off into a lake to drown them and they all die together? How many times have we heard this story played out over and over and over? And that's why the United States of America, as I said yesterday, Babylon has fallen. That's why 150 plus Iranian school children are now dead, murdered by a Tomahawk missile in the United States military. That's why we're bombing Iran. That's why we're in Venezuela. Cuba's next, remember? Cuba's next, according to Lindsey Graham. You see, that's one reason. All of this is because Donald Trump is dying, and he knows it, and he don't think it's fair, and his money can't save him. His money can do absolutely nothing for him. And he don't understand that concept. He don't understand because his whole life, his money has always made a way for him to get out of everything. It's always given him everything he's wanted. Money has always allowed him to rape women and children, murder people, and act like nothing ever happened. But he can't do it this time. It's not going to work. The second reason all of this is happening is because the world knows that Donald Trump is the world's most famous child rapist. The whole world knows. Iran knows. Israel knows. Russia knows. Putin knows. Kim Jong-un knows. Everybody knows. People in Arkansas, people in Texas, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, North Dakota, Tennessee, California. The whole world knows. Teenagers know, the elderly know, and everyone in between. Everybody knows the President of the United States of America rapes and murders children, and has done it for decades. Everybody knows about this satanic occult, from Hollywood to Pedophile Hill to Predator Beach. Everybody knows that these people eat children. Everybody knows they make jerky out of the flesh of babies and gnaw on it. Everybody knows. Everybody knows Donald Trump is just a thief, a scumbag, a pedophile. And so he's decided to punish everyone for his crimes, for being exposed as who and what he is. I experienced this myself. I know a lot of people have. When you catch someone in a lie, and instead of saying and admitting they lied and apologizing and trying to correct it, they retaliate and punish you for exposing them in a lie. You're the bad guy because they're liars, because they're cheaters, because they're murderers, because they're scumbags. It's everyone else's fault. See, it's the whole world's fault that Donald Trump rapes and murders children. It's the whole world's fault for finding out. He thinks that he should be able to rape and murder children. And that's perfectly acceptable. It's the whole world's fault. Just like with Erica Kirk. She should be able to murder her husband, take over his business and all of his money, and traffic children. And it's the whole world's fault for knowing about it. It's not her fault for doing it. See, her doing it and Donald Trump, these people raping, murdering, and selling children, they should be allowed to do that. And if you contest that or object to that or disagree with that, then it's your fault. You're the problem. Them doing it is not the problem. You knowing about it is the problem. Just like with the state judge, Kelly Hansen, who kidnapped my 7-year-old son and stuck his dick in my 7-year-old son and murdered my 7-year-old son. It's me that's the problem for knowing about it. Him doing it, that's not the problem. That's not a problem at all. No, the problem is me knowing about it. Just like with Candace Owens. When she's exposing Erica Kirk and Brigitte Macron and all of these people, it's Candace knowing about it that's the problem, not them doing it. This is where we're at. This is why Babylon has fallen. This is why America is done. The country's dead. It's over. The United States of America, you see that flag? You might as well set it on fire, throw it away. It's done. It's done. The stars and stripes, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, truth and justice, opportunity, gone. All of it. Every bit of it. No. There's no truth and justice. How many people have been charged with raping, murdering, or trafficking children? From Pedophile Hill to Hollywood to TPUSA to Greg Laurie at Harvest Church. How many people have been criminally charged for raping, murdering, and selling children? Zero. How many people have been charged for just trafficking children? Zero. Zero. Erica Kirk, has she been charged for aiding and abetting the assassination of her husband, Charlie Kirk? Has she been charged in a conspiracy to take out her own husband, to take over his business and money? No. Has she even been investigated? Let's forget charged. That's putting the cart ahead of the horse. Has Erica Kirk been investigated for any ties or any foreknowledge in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, her husband, whom 72 hours after his brutal assassination in front of the whole world, took over his company and hundreds of millions of dollars? Was she ever investigated? No. No. Has Judge Kelly Hansen, who has 16 years worth of victims of children he has kidnapped, raped, murdered, tortured, and sold, has he been investigated? No. No. How about Donald Trump? How about anyone in the Epstein files? Les Wexner? Are these people being legitimately investigated as part of a criminal investigation? Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Howard Lutnick? Have any of these people, Oprah Winfrey, trafficking children from the Olag schools in Africa, schoolgirls coming up missing, has she been criminally investigated? No. How about for all the years, 3 decades, Corey Feldman in Hollywood, screaming from the mountaintops about being sexually assaulted as a child 4 years in Hollywood by numerous people, reporting it to the Santa Barbara police, to numerous law enforcement agencies. Has anyone been investigated criminally? No. Because them doing it is not the problem. It's us knowing about it that's the problem. And when we do know about it and we speak out about it, well, guess what? Guess what's going to happen? You're going to be attacked. You're going to be called crazy. Ask Candace Owens. You're going to be sued into bankruptcy. Ask Candace Owens how many lawsuits she had. I believe there's a comedian being sued right now for imitating Erica Kirk. What's his name? Druxler or Druxy? Let me see, let me get his name right. Drewski is being sued for imitating Erica Kirk because she had a hand in murdering her own husband, which benefited her hundreds of millions of dollars in a business she did not earn. She did not build. She don't even know how to run and operate. That's why yesterday's show was Babylon Has Fallen. And today we fall even further. The stock market's crashing, the Dow Jones is crashing, the S&P, the NASDAQ, all crashing. We're sending 5,000 troops plus into Iran, where they're going to be slaughtered. They're going to be murdered. I'm telling you right now, if United States military members land on Kharg Island, they will be obliterated. They will be bombed and attacked with drones on an island known as a kill box. Kharg Island is a kill box. If U.S. military members land on that island, they will be decimated by the Iranian military. That is a fact. That's a suicide mission. And that is intentional, because the President of the United States of America rapes and murders children, and it's proven and documented for decades. And he is desperate to do anything to avoid accountability and responsibility, because his whole life, his money and his name has allowed him to avoid accountability and responsibility for any crimes against humanity. Any crimes against humanity. Donald Trump has operated with immunity for his entire 80 years on this earth. And for once in his miserable, worthless existence, people are demanding accountability and responsibility for his crimes against humanity. And he don't think that's fair because he has money and his last name is Trump. That's the truth. So, we're about to witness probably one of the biggest military losses in our nation's history. It's going to be a suicide mission if ground troops land anywhere near Iran. And this is all a distraction and diversion and retaliation. It's retaliation because Donald Trump is dying and he wants to take as many people with him as he can because he don't think it's fair that he has to die with money and with the last name Trump. He shouldn't have to die because he has money. That's number one. And number two, he don't think it's fair that everybody knows he rapes and murders children and has done it for decades. He don't think that's fair. So we're all getting punished. We're going to pay the pedophile tax. We're gonna work our butts off, pay a lot of money for gas and groceries, not be able to afford rent or electric, because the President of the United States of America rapes and murders children. That's the extent of it. That's the truth. So it is Friday. It is the start of the weekend. I hate to start the weekend with a doom and gloom show, but I wanted to get this out because I couldn't believe that he actually said this out loud, that Iran wants to make him their supreme leader. The level of dementia, delusion, and psychopathy is unparalleled in human history. I don't think Genghis Khan was this crazy. Charles Manson, Adolf Hitler, Gaddafi, Omar Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, Pablo Escobar, the Medellin cartel. I don't think I have ever witnessed a human being with a greater degree of psychopathy, delusion, and narcissism than the current President of the United States of America. When he murders the supreme leader of Iran, the Ayatollah, at 81 or 83 years old the Ayatollah was, and then turns around and murders more than 150 Iranian school children with a Tomahawk missile being dropped on a school intentionally, and then turns around and says that country wants to make him their supreme leader? It hurts my head. It literally hurts my head to listen to the ignorance and the arrogance of this psychopath. So, it is day 1,660 since my son was kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and murdered. And according to Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department's 3rd District, eaten by Donald Trump, which we know cannibalism of children is a common practice in the United States of America, as we all know now. So, without any further ado, I always close with a Bible verse. And we're still in Revelations, and we're going to talk about Babylon. Because we are Babylon, and we have fallen. The country's over. There's no way out of this. You can 25th Amendment Trump right now. You can stop the war with Iran right now. The damage is done. It's over. America has fallen. Freedom and liberty are gone. Truth and justice are gone. All of the institutions are destroyed. The FBI, the CIA, Homeland Security, NSA, ATF, DEA, law enforcement, judges, prosecutors, all finished. It is a giant, corrupt, satanic occult. No more, no less. That's it. There's no truth or justice. There's no equality. There's no hope. There's no future. There's nothing. I know my faith is in Jesus Christ. I know that for a fact. I have no faith in my fellow man. None whatsoever. After 1,660 days of being laughed at, mocked, ridiculed, terrorized, assaulted, abused, trafficked. I mean, there's no hope. Let's call right now. We're at the 30-minute mark. Not many people will make it this far in the video because of their attention span. I can't say that I blame them with all this social media going on. But let's give them a call right now and watch their reaction. Watch what they say.
Please, 911, where's your emergency?
I need to report cannibalism of my child, and I need his teeth, toenails, fingernails, and hair back, please. This is what we get, ladies and gentlemen. This is 911 on Capitol Hill. When you report cannibalism of children in the United States of America to 911 on Capitol Hill, this is what you get. Dead silence, if not laughter and mockery. I have a recording from earlier, literally laughing at me. Laughing at me. I haven't seen or heard from my son since 2021. Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department, 3rd District told me Donald Trump ate my son. And these people laugh about that. What kind of human being laughs about the rape, murder, and cannibalism of children in 2026? We are supposed to be a civilized nation, a society. Does this sound like civilized people to you? Ma'am, do you have anything to say for yourself? You're on Truth News 963 on the podcast right now. Do you have anything to say about the reporting of cannibalism of children in the United States of America in 2026? Not a word. And this is what we go to work for. These are the people who are making $85,000 a year, these people make, to sit there, answer a phone, and do absolutely nothing. Do you see this pain on my hands? You know what I did all day? I worked my butt off all day. 8 hours. Drove 30 minutes each way to get to work. These people do nothing for $85,000 a year of our money while they rape, murder, and sell our children. This is the United States of America in 2026, ladies and gentlemen. Babylon has indeed fallen. And it's people just like this lady right here who will do anything for money and never do the right thing. Never. She don't care about children. She don't care about truth or justice or laws. She don't care about anything except showing up to a building, sitting in a chair, answering a phone, and making sure her bank account has money in it. That is all she cares about. Does my bank account have money, and how easy is it to get that money? What little can I do for the most amount of money? Am I wrong, ma'am? You're more than welcome to correct me. You see they're still on the phone. You see and you can call that number, 202-707-7111. That's the Library of Congress 911. I've been blocked from all other DC numbers. I've been blocked from all my congressmen, all my senators, Capitol threats, 911, Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department, Riverside County. I've got restraining orders from 2 different law enforcement agencies. I've got a cease and desist order from Oklahoma City Detective Intelligence, who also threatened to find me and put me in the ground. Oklahoma City Detective Brad Cotton told me he would find me and put me in the ground. And you see, we're still on the phone with the Library of Congress 911. It is day 1,660 since serial child killer, State Judge Kelly Hansen, kidnapped my 7-year-old son, stuck his dick in my 7-year-old son, murdered my 7-year-old son. And these are the exact people who told me Donald J. Trump ate my son and laughed about it. Laughed. What kind of human being laughs about children being eaten? I mean, is this the Amazon rainforest? Is this the Congo? Are we some native tribe now? In the United States of America in 2026, people in Washington, D.C., in law enforcement, mind you, law enforcement, are laughing about children being eaten, raped, tortured, murdered, abused, and sold. Laughing about it. I've asked these people repeatedly to show me the joke. I don't find anything funny in it. I don't find anything funny in harming children in any way, shape, or form. I don't care if you're beating a child with a belt or your hands. I don't see anything funny in that. And we're talking about eating children. Taking the flesh of slaughtered babies, making jerky out of it, and gnawing on it. And Washington, D.C. law enforcement laughs about that. We're still on the phone now. We're still on the phone. Not a word. Look, we're on a 5-minute and 30-second 911 call with Washington, D.C. Ma'am, do you have anything to say? Anything at all? Not a word. And she's making $85,000, probably more than that. That's their starting pay, $85,000 a year. To sit and do nothing while innocent children are raped, murdered, tortured, and sold, and they laugh about it. And they laugh about it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the United States of America in 2026. Babylon has indeed fallen. There's no way out of this. We're not going to vote our way out of this. We're not going to protest our way out of this. There's no impeachment to get out of this. It's not going to happen. So let me close with a Bible verse. Back to Revelations 18:21. Then a strong angel took up a stone like a great millstone and threw it into the sea, saying, So will Babylon, the great city, be thrown down with violence and will not be found any longer. And the sound of harpists and musicians and flute players and trumpeters will not be heard in you any longer. And no craftsman of any craft will be found in you any longer. And the sound of a mill will not be heard in you any longer. I want to stop right there. No harpists, musicians, flute players, and trumpeters will be heard in you any longer. Have you heard the music the United States of America is putting out? Do you hear any harpists or flute players or trumpeters or musicians? No, I hear a lot of bass and beats and rapping and talking. I don't hear anyone singing. I don't hear Whitney Houston anymore. I don't hear Whitney Houston. I don't hear Eric Clapton. I don't hear guitar players and singers. No, I hear Lil Wayne. I hear I don't even know these new musicians. I don't listen to them because the music is trash. There's no music coming out of America anymore. Do you hear? Think about the music. What do you hear? A lot of bass and a lot of rap and a lot of talk. That's it. There's no actual singers anymore. There's no harpists. There's no musicians, flute players, and trumpeters. No craftsman of any craft will be found in you any longer. Is America building anything great? You seen anything spectacular? Have you seen our roads? Our roads are filled with potholes. They're disgusting. I watch YouTube videos of other countries, and their roads are just beautiful. I mean, the paint on them is good. The guardrails are nice and clean. I don't see a lot of trash and litter on the side of the roads. When their cameras are rolling in their cars, there's no bumping or potholes. Have you seen America's roads? There's no craftsmen in this country anymore. None. And the sound of a mill will not be heard in you any longer. Where are all the factories? Where are all the factories? Where are all the manufacturing? Where are they at? I'll tell you where they're at. Mexico, China. That's where they're at. They're not here. Nothing comes out of this country except stolen children, lies, and deception. That's it. Lies and deception, stolen kids. That's it. Babylon has indeed fallen. And the light of a lamp will not shine in you any longer. And the voice of the bridegroom and bride will not be heard in you any longer. Don't see a lot of weddings happening here with the LGBTQ movement. I don't see a bride and a bridegroom. I see a lot of lesbianism and homosexuality, which are an abomination to God. And the light of a lamp. The light of a lamp. Is America a bright place? Are people just flocking here? Or is everybody excited to come to America? Matter of fact, there's a lot of FIFA teams for the Soccer World Cup who are saying they're not going to come to this country. It's not safe because we got ICE agents shooting priests in the face and murdering American citizens in the streets like dogs. So we can't have FIFA here in the United States of America. Let's read on. For your merchants were great men of the earth, because all the nations were deceived by your sorcery. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all who have been slain on earth. That's right, there's a lot of sorcery here in the United States with the media and the pharmaceutical companies and the fentanyl and the alcoholism and the drug addiction and all these rehabs and homeless places that, isn't it funny? We've got a homeless crisis and we got all these homeless shelters and all of this money to help the homeless, but we still have a homeless crisis. We have all of these rehab centers and all of these addiction places to help addiction, but we have an addiction crisis. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? They keep throwing money at the problem, and the more money they throw at the problem, the bigger the problem gets. Isn't that funny how that works out? It's almost by design. It's almost like, let's create the problem, throw a bunch of money at it, and make the problem worse so we can throw more money at it, and it's a never-ending cycle. Well, that cycle is about come to an end. It's done, ladies and gentlemen. Babylon has fallen. And I'm going to leave it there for tonight. We've gone about 13 minutes over in this video. I'm sorry for the long videos. Like I said, there's so much I could cover. There's so much truth I could share. But I got to do it in small doses so people can take it in, because too much and it doesn't get the full attention it deserves. So I hope everyone has a good weekend. Tomorrow is the No Kings protest. I encourage everyone to get out. Like I said, we're not going to protest our way out of this. It's good to let your voice be heard. That's why I make these videos. It's good to let your voice be heard and to speak truth to life, because that's all we can do right now until we all come together as one and stand as one, which, to be honest with you, our entire government needs to be overhauled. Our entire country needs to be overhauled top to bottom. The House has got to go, the Senate's got to go, the President's got to go, the Cabinet's got to go, the CIA's got to go, the FBI, all of it's got to go. That's the only way we're going to fix this. It's all got to go, and we got to start all over. Like Ian Carroll said, just burn it all to the ground, and we got to start all over from scratch. It's done. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. So, but I do believe that God has a plan, and I do believe that we are Babylon, and Babylon has indeed fallen. So everyone have a good weekend. Tomorrow's show will be a little bit better, be on more positivity. Like I said, you can only take so much evil and negativity, and you got to replenish yourself with some good, solid material. So thank you for your time and attention. Please like, share, and subscribe. Everyone have a good weekend. I'll see you tomorrow.